Hey everybody, welcome back to Pocket at Disneyland. So I'm moving on today and starting work on Frontierland. I have now finished the Tomorrowland area, so if you haven't seen that, please go check it out. So I wanted to build a Tower of Terror ride, and I actually built this last July 2017. And I put a few pictures on the Shy Guys World forum. If you're not on Shy Guys World, check it out. There's some really good work on there from various players of different theme park games, and it's great for inspiration and just seeing what other people are up to. But yeah, I posted some screenshots. Actually, I asked about on the forum about doing a Tower of Terror, and someone said to me about this concept for Disney Paris called Geyser Mountain. And actually what it is it's the Tower of Terror ride with a Frontier kind of overlay on it, a Frontierland theme. So I thought that was really interesting, and I went on Google and had a little Google search, and I found some really good pictures actually of Geyser Mountain and kind of what it would look like. It's slightly different to what we know Tower of Terror to be. It's a lot. The tower was skinnier, and it looked like it only had two kind of drop shafts inside. I wanted to go and do a more traditional 3 drop shafts with the California, Tokyo, Disney kind of look with the tower. So I've made it wider. But yeah, I found this video of somebody who actually built the Geyser Mountain Tower in real life in model form, and I thought that was really great, and I actually used that video for color inspiration and just for different kind of structure patterns and that kind of thing. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. It was really something different. I wasn't really copying anything, or I just kind of was using this concept idea and kind of trying to come up with my own version of it. So that was really cool. So basically I've started off with just using those real plain simple walls that come with the game and blocking out all the shapes that I want. And then when I've got the shape, I then go back in over, I delete some of the walls, replace them with different textures, and build up different patterns on them using wooden beams and that kind of thing. So that's kind of basically really how I build most of my buildings. I was asked on Steam last week, how to do a good kind of village or building, and I basically said the same thing. I said I just start off with doing plain walls and blocking out the shapes and putting roofs on and seeing what looks best. And when I'm happy with the shape and the look, then I go back in and just change little bits, maybe make some corners more curved, or add different roofs on, or I make a balcony stick out one side, or I take a bit of roof away and add like a little roof terrace somewhere. It's all about putting on and taking away and seeing what looks best. So nothing I build is ever really 100% planned. It's definitely trial and error, and as I go along with the build, I see what just looks best and what's working, and sometimes things don't work out quite the way I want them to, so I have to go back in and really reimagine things. So yeah, this is basically how I do it, and that is definitely 100% what I do here with this build. As you can see at the moment, it's a very plain non-textured building, and I will go in and try and add everything I can that looks good onto it to make it look really individual. So yeah, I'm just going to leave you for a bit and let you watch what I'm doing, and then when I come back in with some more kind of progress done, I shall talk about what's going on. So speak to you soon. So as you can see by now, I've done quite a lot. I'm just adding this little kind of gang walkway now around the building just to give it a bit more three-dimension. As you can see now, it is really kind of taking shape of that California, Disney Paris and Tokyo Disney Tower of Terror look. So I actually wanted to build the Tower of Terror because it's one of my favorite Disney rides, and because I wasn't building a Hollywood Studios park and I was actually building a Magic Kingdom park, I really wanted to get it in there somehow. So I think I've achieved it, and I think when I actually show you the finished Frontierland, it really fits in really well with the park, and I can actually imagine it being there. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out the top here. I know that it has quite a lot of spiky roofs and kind of steep roofs, so I'm going to try and do that and put in lots of those. And I really like this green colour that I've used, so I'm going to use that for the rest of the roofs that I put on the tower. I was a little bit worried actually that this building was getting too big, but actually at the end when I've put it into Frontierland with everything around it, it does look quite good. And also I've actually, when I build it, I put it on lower ground than the rest of the park, so you have kind of like a slopey pathway going down to the entrance, so it's not quite as high as it actually is if you put it on flat ground. One thing I kind of do here is not build the back. I do everything on the front, and then I go back in right at the end and do the back. Now I did actually try and look at some photographs of Tower of Terror to see how the back of the ride is, and I kind of just, from looking at pictures, realised that it's very simple and it's just very flat, very plain, and it has just a few windows and a few little textures and patterns on there, but it's not anywhere near as detailed as the front. So the back was quite easy, to be honest. I just kind of continue around a little bit of the style onto the back, so I'm not going to go too much into the back and show you that. I do show you a little bit at the end, but nothing too long. So this video is slightly longer than I normally do, mainly because I wanted to really get this whole building done in one episode. So I thought, instead of doing like a 10-15 minute, I'll just add on that extra few minutes and do a 20-minute video. So if you make it the whole way through this video, then congratulations. I love adding in beams, horizontal beams across buildings, on any building. It just adds like a different little style. I don't know, it's just a little something I do quite often with my buildings, and I feel like it gives it just a little bit of a style or something, or like a little, it's just like a nice little detail that's really easy to do, but actually it's quite effective. And it breaks up where two different textures meet. So here I've got this plain wall meeting the wood, and I think it's really a nice way to make those two join very nicely. So these roofs are actually quite high in the air, and I've always had a bit of a problem with building high in the air. I like to do things on the flat ground. It's much easier to see perspectively. So I'm finding it quite difficult to try and fit where the pieces should go. Again, adding in this chunky pillar. I do love this chunky pillar. I use it very much throughout the park. But I thought it'd be cool just to add on the top, just to really break up that plain brown wall. And I plan on putting the windows within these pillars for the drop shafts. As you know, in Tower of Terror, the doors open and you can see out over the park. So that is the idea of this kind of bit, just to kind of plot out where the windows would go. I do actually put the launch drop tower inside of the tower. I know it's not exactly the correct ride, as it's not an elevator kind of shaft ride, but it is the closest thing in the game. So I've used the drop tower, and I've just placed that inside behind the facade, so you can't actually see it, but at least there is still a ride inside. Some glass there just to make the door windows. So at the bottom of the building there's a lot of random little blocks and things, so basically they're going to be the bottom of the ride, the entrance. This is going to be like a building where, you know, there's like maybe a mine, there's rocks being pulled out of the earth, that kind of thing. So I'm going to make the bottom of the Tower of Terror like a little kind of working village. The queue line will kind of weave through that, and there will be, you know, rocks and that kind of stuff. Basically you can put rocks with any theming and just call it theming. So that's basically what I've done here. I've just added rocks around the bottom and made like a little rock conveyor belt, and just some little kind of maintenance buildings and little sheds for workmen, that kind of thing. So now I'm just going to go through the whole building and add some little doors and windows in little places to make it look like people can actually enter and exit from different levels inside if they were to work in this building. So obviously there is a storyline that goes with Geyser Mountain. I'm not actually sure what that storyline is. Maybe there wasn't one made up for it in its concept, but maybe there's a good one somewhere. Obviously the Tower of Terror has the same storyline about the people in the elevator and the lightning, and obviously the one at Tokyo has a different story but very similar about the idol and its curse. And obviously Guardians of the Galaxy as well, I forgot about that one actually. Yeah, obviously that is the same ride concept, just with a different theme, and it uses the Guardian of the Galaxy storyline. So I don't know, there could be a good storyline for this one, I just haven't thought of one. So now I'm just putting these like wooden posts on the front just to like give it extra detail, and I thought it'd be really cool just to like kind of bring them down at all at different levels to make it look really kind of not like, I don't want to say spooky, but spooky. I still feel like this ride should have like a dark theme. It is, you know, it's like a family attraction with a slight horror kind of storyline. Not too horror that it's not Disney anymore, but I still want to have that kind of mysterious atmosphere going on. So I'm just going to skip over now building these little buildings at the bottom. As you can see that I've just skipped right ahead and you can see what I've done. It was very similar to what I've done already with the rest of the building. I've just used those same kind of similar styles and just copied them over into smaller form. So I just didn't want to, you know, waste too much time with showing you the same things over and over basically. So that's basically the bottom, and it does change a little bit when I actually save this whole thing as a blueprint and actually move it to the area that I want it in. I built this away from the park just so that I wasn't, basically I wanted to see what it looked like before I put it down solidly somewhere. So that's why I built it away from the park, and I'm going to save it as a blueprint, as I said. So now it's time to do the back of the ride. I've just copied the front of the roof there as a blueprint just to copy around to the back. I'm just going to do the same now for the sides of the roof. This saves a lot of time with, building the same thing over and over. I do love making blueprints and copying them around. Just adding some little details there on the corners of the roof. So now the back, I'm just going to kind of plot out where I want the walls to go, as I always do in just the plain wall, and then I'll go through and add some details. As you can see inside there is the launch drop tower. So I really enjoy mixing up different textures. Up here I've got like a plain wall with a wooden wall and a stone wall. I think it's always good though to like mix it up a little bit, just to break up some of the structures. Otherwise it all becomes one big plain block. So again, I'm going to save this little section as a blueprint just so I can copy it up throughout the rest of the building. So when I've actually placed it in place in Frontierland, I will add maintenance doors on the back to keep with my realism that I'm doing throughout the park, and I shall have like a maintenance road that goes around the back of it. I did see a picture somewhere where they brought in the cars for the drop shafts on like a trolley, and they take it through the back door of the building and slide them into place. So that's kind of where the inspiration for the maintenance part of the ride will come from when I do it. Yeah, so this is basically it for today's episode. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, just give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button and comment down below if you have any questions. But I shall leave you with some screenshots now, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!